Hi Priyanka. Hello pet parents.
Hi, Soumya.
Hi. This is Soumya from PetFed India, your host for today. And as promised, we are back with another Ask the Expert live session on dog training and behavior. We are here with Priyanka Patkki, a certified professional dog trainer, and we will be discussing more on how to bond better with our dogs. And the people who are watching us right now, you can please feel free to drop in your queries in the comment section below of the post, and we will surely answer them. Hi, Priyanka, how are you doing?
Hi, Soumya. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good too.
How's
Thanks
the
for asking.
lockdown been?
Lockdown has been just like it has been for everybody else, boring and gloomy. Yeah. So,
Oh, man.
telling something about you to the audience. Priyanka, as I said, is a certified professional dog trainer. She's been working in the pet care industry for over 13 years now. After her stint in NGOs and vet clinics, she finally founded her own boarding and training company known as Snout Scout, the dog family, in 2016 and never looked back. She's been happily helping pets and their families live a harmonious life together ever since. How does it feel to do that? Does it feel like you've accomplished a lot in life being surrounded with dogs?
Well, it's a start. It's a great beginning, I would say.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot to do, but obviously, it makes me feel really, really good with every
Hmm.
pet family that I meet. And I think every family and every dog is so different. So, we end up getting like a deep connection with every family. So, I can't
Okay.
really say that it's only the dog, it's the entire family that
Oh,
we end up getting connected to.
right. So not just the furry member, but the entire family actually.
Absolutely, because training becomes like that, right? It's a part of their daily life. So we
Yeah.
have to work as a family, as a unit together.
That's an interesting take. So, like if I asked you to look back at that moment when where you knew that this is what you're born to do. This is that defining moment in your life when you knew that dogs are going to listen to you forever, and you're going to keep training them. And what was that moment for you?
Right. So actually, it's not one moment, Soumya, if I think of it. I think it was like a process, There were a few trainings that started, or there were a few dogs that I met, and I had those few moments. I wouldn't say it was one moment. So
Okay.
I'll give you an example. Like there was once a Lhasa Apso who'd
Hmm.
come to our training center, and throughout the consultation, he just kept growling at me. Okay, like he was just at
Okay.
a distance and he would keep growling at me. So I also didn't bother. I didn't talk to him, and I just kept consulting with the owners, asking about what's been happening and all of that. And then we scheduled ki okay, chalo, the next session I'll do a home visit. Let me see how he is in that surrounding, right? Because I wanted to
Okay.
actually gauge the situation, evaluate it fully before we
Right.
could make a plan. And I went to the house, and he was in my lap, and he was all ready
Oh,
to like, okay, then let's start. What are we going to do now? And ever
nice.
since that day, like till date, I meet that dog, and I think it was just something that had to click, and then we started. Of course, there were lots of things that followed, and there were a few times where he again did growl at me, and we worked through it, but it was good. So that was one. Then there
Okay.
was another female Roti, she was an absolute, like one of my favorites. So with her, what happened is, again, the first time when I did a stay with her, I was just like, oh, okay. She really was giving me that full focus, and okay, I'm going to be in this downstay for as long as you tell me. I think that was another moment where, I could get that kind of a dog, and she was quite hard, she was quite
Yeah,
crazy in the head.
rotis are, yeah, they're known to
Yeah.
be temperamental.
But she was, yeah, and she was amazing. Ever since that day, whenever she would even come to stay at our boarding place, like she just wanted to do something together. Like even if
Okay.
I'm in the office, I'm doing something else, she would just come there and be like, okay, chalo, let's do something. So that was another moment where I felt that, okay, if the dogs are enjoying this with me, nothing like, and I obviously was enjoying it. So training is one time where it's like meditation for me. Like I just enjoy that 1 hour. Like nothing can make me feel better.
That's nice. Of course, that's very nice. So, like we do this with everybody who comes for our live sessions. Why don't you share, like, so talking of moments, why don't you share like a funny moment that you ever had with a dog or their family, while you were training them, like, some funny anecdote that you would like to share with the audience.
Right. Um, so there was this one beagle, okay, who I've been working with for quite some time now. So we finished
Okay.
our basic obedience, and after that, the owner just told me, okay, teach him some advanced work. So I said, okay.
Okay.
So we didn't realize that sometimes when you try to start teaching something, you can have quite a funny story added to it later. So I was teaching
Right,
him to
right.
open and close jars. Okay, so open a drawer and close it and get me
Okay.
stuff out of it, like maybe my chappal or something. And
Okay.
then soon,
Oh, you
obviously, it's
do
just
that.
similar to
You
a,
train you
yeah,
train them for that also. Nice. Right.
yeah. So with him, and he used to love to do something like, okay, come now, tell me what next. But it soon happened because the boy loved to work so much that just like a sit, yeah, like how you start to eat and your dog just keeps sitting and begging for food. I would enter the house and he would start opening the drawer. That okay, here I'm opening it, and here, take this, take your chappal. Take, and I'm like, okay, I don't want it. Like as soon as I would enter, he would start doing that.
That's nice.
So yeah.
That's funny. Okay, so thank you for sharing that funny story with us. So, moving on, let's get to the exact topic that we are here to discuss on, and that is we want to discuss on how we can bond better with our dogs, and especially through training and some basic obedience that we can do. People who are joining us again, I would urge you to drop in your queries regarding dog behavior training, how to bond better, whatever queries you have in the comment section below, and we will surely answer them for you. So, before we start taking the audience questions, Priyanka, I have a couple of questions for you. You know how there is this a common anxiety and nervousness that people face when they are about to take a dog in, when a furry family member is about to come to their house. How can one prepare themselves when we are getting a puppy home?
Right. That's a very interesting question, Soumya. So, and that is the beginning of a beautiful
Right.
relationship with your dog. So, I think that's like
Yes.
the most important step. So, first and foremost, I would say is that be prepared for your puppy, like just mentally and practically. Like if you're well informed, you know what all you're looking forward to, you're going to be half your work is done there. So you
Right.
need to know that, okay, you're going to get a puppy home. Yes, there is going to be teething. Yes, there is going to be susu potty everywhere in the house. So it's like raising a baby, right? Like you can't suddenly be like, oh my God, now there is susu everywhere.
Right.
You have to be ready for these things. Mentally, if you're ready, you're half sorted. And then
Okay.
obviously your practical preparation, like get your crate there, get your crate ready, get your collar, leash, uh, and then obviously get a trainer or someone on board who's guiding you throughout the process. So
Okay.
then if you've done your homework well enough, if you have your crate training sorted, like okay, how you're going to do it, at least you have the answers. Then once you have the puppy home, you just start right away. There's no right
Right.
time to start training. You start
Right.
training as soon as you get the puppy home.
Get the puppy.
So
Right.
if this is a good start, I think you're sorted. Then you will not start freaking out after the puppy, because it's
Right.
like the day you get the puppy in your hands, obviously you're all smitten with the cute puppy eyes, but just in I think 24 hours it turns into
You,
pulling your hair out if you're not
right.
well prepared.
Right. So, this is about just like a day or a week before we have decided that, we want to get a puppy, and we get them home, and that's how we prepare ourselves. But while we are on the journey of making that decision of adopting a dog or taking a dog in, uh, what are the various factors that one should consider before they finally decide to adopt a dog, whether it's regarding their lifestyle or their daily schedule, or the size of the house they live in, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So see, one, the most important question you have to ask yourself is, why do you want a dog? Okay. Like why is your biggest question. Why do you want a dog, and what do you want to do with your dog? See, lots of times, obviously the classic answer to this is, I just want a companion, right? Like I
Okay.
want someone to just cuddle and be there.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you want a companion, but you don't have that kind of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every day,
Right.
these days everyone's working really hard, so you don't have that kind of time. Then you rather actually go spend time at places like our place, like we have a boarding place, or there are
Mm-hmm.
multiple opportunities today. You can go volunteer at an NGO. You can spend some time with a dog there as well, if it's just about spending time with a dog. But
Right.
then once you feel that no, you want one at home, then your next question is, what do you want to do with him? Like, for example,
Right.
I have two dogs. I have a retriever and a pit bull. The
Okay.
reason when I got a pit bull, the answer was that I wanted a personal protection dog and I wanted to compete
Okay.
with him in a dog sport, which required
Okay.
protection work. So that's when I
Right.
selected a pit bull. But
Right.
soon after a few months, I realized that I want a therapy dog. I want to work on therapy. And then I
Right.
realized, obviously, then my retriever is a better bet because obviously they are just too cute, and they're
Right.
ever
Right.
pleasing. They're ever ready to please anyone and everyone, not just me.
Right.
Like,
Right.
she's just like, okay, I want to make everyone happy. So
Right.
that should be your answer. So even if you have a pet at home, try to think, what do you want to do with your pet? Would you rather just have him also trained to be a therapy dog, or would you just at least teach him some stuff at home? Get those
Mm.
things clear, and then you can decide on what breed you want. Whether you
Okay.
even want to adopt, today that is a great opportunity you can do. You can adopt an
Yeah.
indie. But
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
kind of a setup you have? If you have a farmhouse, they would be brilliant because the space they get, that kind of freedom that an indie gets, they just love it.
Love
So,
it.
then
Right.
you can rather adopt.
Right. Right.
But
Okay.
be sure of what is in your head. Why do you want a dog?
Right. Okay. So, now let's talk about your expertise and your skills, your great set of skills. Talking about that, when we get a puppy home and they're scared. Initially, they're sad, they're confused, they're trying to acclimatize to their new surroundings, right? So, what kind of activities or games can we play with that pup initially? How can we engage with that pup and make them feel comfortable and make them feel at home, which is actually their home now?
Right. Yeah. So, see, the initial time when you just get your puppy home, it's your most crucial time. That is where now your bonding is going to start. So, the one most important thing you have to remember is, do not try to control your dog. Okay, which is
Okay.
something that everyone will try to do as soon as you get your puppy home. No, don't do
Right.
this. No, don't do that. No, don't go here. Just
Yeah.
just forget that you even know the no.
Okay.
No using the no command. That's your first most important thing. And then, of course, you start playing with whatever the puppy wants to play with. See, every puppy wants to play. Okay,
Right.
when, like, imagine he's coming from his litter mates. He used to play with his litter mates. He used to play with his
Right.
mother. Why will he not want to play with you? So you
Okay.
just think of yourself as a puppy, as a little child, and then you start doing something with him. So whether it's a ball, again, don't focus on the kind of a toy you're using. It can be
Right.
anything that he's trying to chase, and he'll
Right.
want to chase something or the other. So start with a ball, start with a tug, start with anything, and just start engaging into some kind of a game. Once you start, or play with food. Some dogs, they just want to chase food. So start throwing
Okay.
kibble around and get him to come back to you. Give him kibble from here.
Okay.
So play
So
around with
basically,
anything that the dog is interested in.
right. So observing is the key. Like you need to observe your puppy as to what makes them excited, what helps them feel better. That's a good suggestion. A lot of people, so they are a little skeptical in hiring a trainer, and or leaving their dog in the boarding center for that matter. And one of their main concerns is that because they feel like the dog will end up bonding more with the trainer, and then they'll stop listening to them, they'll stop listening, the dogs will stop listening to their own parents. So is that a myth, or is it true to some extent? Can you, and if it is, then how do you deal with it?
Right. So, see, for this, the answer is that obviously you need to first hire the right trainer. Okay. So, now how do you select the right trainer is the biggest question. Should you get a trainer? The primary answer, should you get a trainer? I would say it's 100% a good idea to get a trainer. The reason being, see, even if you have a lot of information these days on the internet, or you have a lot of friends who've had dogs, but you have to understand that your friend has had probably one dog or two dogs or three dogs, but a trainer generally sees a lot of variety of dogs. They see a variety of breeds. Again, it's not a breed specific concept. On the internet, you're going to get blanket rules like, yeah, all Rottweilers are like this, or all pit
Right.
bulls are like this, or all
Right.
retrievers are like this. It's not true. See, there are
Okay.
too many factors involved, like from where you got the puppy. Like retrievers, which are meant to be the most friendliest breed, you won't believe it, the number of aggression we've seen in retrievers in the last few years. And this, you can
Okay.
ask this to any trainer. The reason
Okay.
being, of course, there are many factors involved, which a trainer can help a pet parent, to understand. At least be well prepared so that they are not surprised, when something goes wrong or goes right. So definitely get a trainer. Then what kind of a trainer would be right for you is obviously who's going to give you a clean handover. See, if a trainer is going to just be like, yeah, okay, he's only going to listen to me, that's not cool. Like there are
Right.
times where I've had cases where I have still never even touched a dog, but I've just sat there and told the owner what to do.
What?
Because it's not
Okay.
important that the dog bonds with me, right? Like the dog should
Right.
bond with the owner. So
Right.
that is one. Second is if the owner follows exactly the way what I'm telling them, at least 90%. Okay, agreed that the way a trainer gives a command, or there are a few small things. Okay, they might be a little bit different. But if you
Mhm.
can at least follow 90% of it and add your own magic to the remaining
Yeah.
10%, see, there are
Yeah.
sometimes things that the owners do which I wouldn't even think of.
Right.
They know their own way around.
Right.
So if you do that, then dogs are going to be fine. Like there are dogs who have trained or who've even come for a board and train program. They come to our center as happily, and then they don't look back at the owner. But when they have
Uh-huh.
to leave, they don't look back at me.
Right.
They look back to the owner
Right.
happily.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it's generally actually us humans, who start feeling, oh my God, my dog is not looking back at me. Or us trainers,
Right.
like so many times after a board and train, I get so emotional that the dog has stayed with me for 1 month
Oh.
and the dog
Yeah.
doesn't even look back at me. But the next time again, when he comes
Right.
back, he's all happy and he's like, okay, bye bye to
Yeah.
the owners.
Yeah.
If you do
Yeah.
the right thing, you will not see a problem. It's when if you're
Right.
not investing enough time, then obviously the dog is going to see me as more fun. But if
Right.
you're doing the exact same things, don't be worried.
Right. So it has to be like an equal balance. Like the trainers have to act more on a consultant specific model, and the even the humans and the pet parents have to put in equal efforts. So yes, that
Absolutely.
does resolve a
Absolutely.
lot of queries that people have had regarding this. Okay, let's just before I ask you more questions that I have, let's just take a couple of questions from the audience. We have them here. So there's this interesting question that Swapnil has put up. He says, "Can you tell us some common body signs through which we can understand what a dog is trying to say?"
Okay. Okay. So definitely, what you have to see is one is you have to see the complete body language. Yeah. So don't just see a dog who's wagging his tail, because if the entire body is stiff but there is a tail wag, it can still be just before an attack as well. Yeah, I've seen a dog who is just seeing another dog and the tail goes tuck 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 tuck. You might think the dog is happy and is wagging his tail, but no, he's going to go straight for the attack because his entire body is stiff,
Okay.
right? So you have to be able to see the entire body, like how are his
Right.
ears, how is the entire body, is it stiff or is he relaxed, and then the tail. So
Okay.
the entire body language, don't just see a growl, don't just see a snarl. Like there are some dogs who while petting, I had a Labrador once who used to come to stay with us, while petting he used to growl like, grr, grr,
Okay.
grr, grr, grr. It was almost like he used to enjoy the petting, but there was no aggression. Like the entire body
Right.
language was so soft
Soft,
that
huh?
it was zero aggression. But if someone had to just take the growl out of it, you would be like, oh my God, he's a growling dog. But it was not that.
Okay. So, but in general, like, other, in general, like, there are common body signs or body language that we can relate to a particular emotion or a particular temperament. For example, obviously, if I'm smiling, it'll look like, well, it's basically because I'm happy or I'm excited about something. So, like, is there any these generic notions that we can look out for in our pets in general?
Even another one which I just thought of is if your dog is mostly, he just lifts his leg suddenly, sometimes when you're just saying
Right.
something or when you're just shouting. That
Right.
is also, sometimes it is stress, that he's just thinking, oh my God, what just happened? Yeah,
Okay.
unless you have a dog who's just playing the fool. Okay, like I've seen indies who sometimes have been injured and now their leg is okay, but every time they see
Mhm.
you, they lift it again. That, oopsie, I was hurt once. So unless a dog is trying to play the fool, but otherwise it could be a sign of stress. Like a lot of times when they just lift one leg, they're a little confused. They're like, what's happening?
Okay, all right. And wagging tail, like you said, can be a sign of happiness, but also like sometimes a sign of aggression also. But for that, we need to see their
It can
entire
be
body.
anything, yeah. A lot of times it's
Okay,
yeah, a lot of times it's a lot of anticipation, a tail wag.
okay,
Like when a dog sees a new person, also, a lot of your retrievers, it's like, okay, there's someone new, but I'm not sure. There's also too many confused emotions when they are wagging their tail.
right,
Or
right,
anticipation of a reward gets a tail wag. Like when he sees a ball in my hand, and at that time, basically he knows I'm going to give him the ball. So when he's waiting for the reward, also you'll see a tail wag.
right. Okay, so anticipation is also one thing. Okay, so I hope Swapnil, your question was answered. We have another question here by Vipul. He asked, "How can I make good bond with my dog? Tell me some 3 points on this." So he wants like a 3 pointer on how he can start building a good bond with his dog.
Wow, I have to like simplify it.
Yeah.
Nice. So 3 points I would think of is one, play. Play, 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 play. Like just figure it out, do whatever it is, play. Second is also have some passive spending time with your dog, where you're nicely bonding with them, touching them. Again, depending on the dog, what kind of a pet he likes. Like my senior dog who was an indie, she used to never like a lot of cuddling. Yeah, so
Okay.
respect their space. So she used to want to sit next to me and nudge me if I don't touch her, but she will not like hugging.
Okay.
Whereas my pit bull loves hugging. Like if I'm sitting, he has to be all over me and he wants to be like here. But spend that passive time also. So every time, don't make it about an agenda. Passive spending time with a dog is you're just doing nothing. Y'all are just chilling. Y'all are just watching TV together. That's
Right.
your passive time. Your active time is obviously playing. And three, I would say, is to have a good bond is respect each other,
Okay.
and do things for each other.
Right.
Just make it like a friendship. Simplify it. Think about
Okay.
it like, okay, if today he wants to not do something, let him be.
Okay.
If today your dog wants to play a little bit more, but you are tired, but play, give it to him. It's okay. You can't always expect something from him, right?
Hmm. That's true. That's true. Okay, so we'll take a couple of more questions in a bit. I had a query that it's all hunky dory when our dogs are happy and satisfied. But most pet parents, they seem to struggle to deal with other kind of temperamental behaviors that a dog can show. Whether it's a little bit of aggression, and like you said, growling is like mostly a sign of aggression, but then there are certain dogs who might growl when they're happy also. But let's just talk about normal, temp different kind of temperamental behaviors that dogs can have. So when people face that, when the pet parents face that that dog has is growling at them for the first time, or is aggressive and is angry at them for a particular reason, how is it best to deal with that kind of anger or that kind of temperament?
Right. Okay, so one, to actually, you have to also, again, know from where your dog has come. See, when I said well prepared, if you're getting the dog from a particular breeder, ask him multiple questions. See, if he's an ethical breeder, he's going to give you a lot of information, right? Like if the parents had any temperamental issues or any of those things, right? Like I'll give you an example of this is when I got my pit bull, I knew that he has animal aggression genetically. Yeah, like I
Right.
knew that his parents had an animal aggression and my dog was going to show it someday or the other. Right? Had you met my dog as a puppy, you would think he is the most friendliest dog to other animals. Yeah, but
Okay.
I was well prepared because my breeder had given me all the information that okay, this dog has a genetic issue and this could show up. Issue, it's actually a trait. Like pit bulls do
Right.
come with that kind of a thing. So because I was well prepared for it, the first day he tried to go for another animal, I knew what to do. Okay, I
Right.
knew I had my training in my head already ready that okay, when he's going to do this, what am I going to do? So this is if you know, if you're aware of a genetic flaw in your dog. So that's
Right.
your first step when you're getting a dog. Okay, like for example, at least be prepared. Like if you're adopting an indie, be prepared that yes, they are going to be territorial. What
Right.
if someday something happens out of the place? then at
Okay.
least you're prepared. Yeah, then if you're prepared, you're going to handle it there and then. But if
Okay.
obviously you were not prepared, you thought that okay, your dog is friendly, and suddenly out of the blue he's growled, you did not know what to do. Okay, fine. Then just talk to your trainer immediately and figure it out, because obviously you
Right.
have to go through the entire cause of it. Why did he do it? Yeah, because
Right.
again, aggression, there are certain aggression where you could correct a dog, but there are certain where you would rather counter condition them. You don't need
Right.
to correct. Yeah, because aggression, it is an interesting topic in itself. So you
Right.
have to be able to see which one is what. Like, because if your dog was actually getting scared of something, then you rather don't want to correct him. You have to
Right.
show him in a different way that, boss, this is not fearful. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay. So
So
like at
have
that
a trainer
particular,
on board. See, if you have yeah.
yeah, yeah, please go ahead. I'll continue.
Yeah, as I have a trainer on board. See, if you've noticed a growling incident, and if you end up doing something wrong, you might end up worsening it. But if you
Right.
know from where that growling is coming, if you think that the dog is getting scared, then you rather back off, or you rather give the dog that space to back off.
Okay.
But if you know for a fact that okay, this is something that my dog was going to do, then you be ready to correct him, like I told you with my pit bull. Like, I knew it was going to happen, and that was not
Right.
coming out of fear. It was coming out of a
Right.
lot of confidence.
Right.
So if
Right.
you can gauge it, great, you can act immediately at that moment. But otherwise, you have to immediately contact a trainer. Don't justify your dog's aggression. Don't
Okay.
try that, oh, it's the first time, let me wait for a second time, let me wait for a third time. Don't justify.
Okay. All right. But at that moment, how do you calm down a dog if they are being aggressive? For example, if they're just, probably like bickering things away, or, they're growling at you, or they've suddenly, like, taken someone's hand in their mouth or something. That it happens that, there are guests over, and if they're suspicious of some particular person, and, they just like either bite them or push them too hard or something like that. At that particular moment, what is it that, the pet parent or the person closest to the dog should do to calm them down before obviously calling the trainer?
Yeah. See, be your dog's advocate, I would say. Okay, be by his side. Okay, so don't try to, like, for example, especially this situation, if your dog has bitten someone else, also try to see what happened. Okay, there's no point in just, shouting at your dog, because there are
Right.
times when sometimes visitors end up doing something silly. I've
Right.
had a dog who the visitor used to try to corner, and he used to come in saying that, no, no, I know how to handle the dog, and he bit. I would not shout at the dog at that time. Rather, I would tell
Right.
the owner back off,
Right.
the visitor back off.
Right.
But yes,
Right.
if it is something absolutely uncool that your dog has done to you, especially you, as your
Hmm.
you primary owner, I would
Yeah.
say correct immediately. Get emotional later, but correct immediately. Let your dog know immediately that it was not cool, but
Okay.
immediately, and then forget about it. Also,
Okay.
see, the major thing is forget about it. So don't
Okay.
continue your anger for the next 1 hour, that oh my god, I'm not going to feed you today, and I'm going to be
Of
angry
course.
for the for
Yeah.
a long time. It's not needed. See, dogs live in the moment. That is one thing we need to learn from them.
Yeah.
And if all
Yeah.
of us humans could, it was great. Like, they live in
Yeah.
the moment. Like,
If
right now it's done,
only.
the next moment your dog is going to be back in your lap, that okay, wow, life is beautiful.
Right, 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 right. If only we could also follow that. Okay, let's take
Yeah.
a few questions from the audience. Shifali asks that her 2-year lab loves water. When we take him out in rain for walk, he keeps playing with water and he does not poop. After coming back, he wants to be taken out for a poop again. So, like, how to deal with this?
Wow, that is one naughty lab.
Yeah,
I would think that try to at least find a dry patch somewhere on your walk if you can walk him. So let him play for some time, and then take one small patch. Okay, take one small patch on the road and walk up and down on that. See, soon the patch will start getting boring, and the dog will think of doing something, and then he might think of pooping. Yeah,
okay,
if he's doing it as soon as he's coming home, then another thing which will take more time is, once you come back home, have your dog on leash still, like just be sitting with him, and as soon as you think okay, he's again getting up to try to poop, go down again, take a small patch and walk up and down, but take a small patch. See, remember, don't go for a long walk, especially a dog like this. It sounds like he wants to have fun all the time, so
right,
in the middle
right.
of fun he's going to forget to poop. So at
Right.
least give him something boring to do. When you make the walk a little boring, he's gonna be like, okay, fine, now let me just think of pooping.
Okay. Since we are on the subject of dog walking, we have received numerous, unending questions regarding leash pulling, especially while walking their dog. So, and I have faced that myself, initially and even now sometimes. So, how do I train my dog to walk properly on a leash without, my dog pulling onto it? And I'm sure a lot of people have that question in their minds.
Absolutely, yeah. It is one. It is the most important thing, which we need in our everyday life.
Right.
So I think here again it starts with your early socializing, what you're doing with your dog when you have them as puppies. See, so what
Mm-hmm.
happens is as puppies when you're socializing, okay, so I'm just going to touch on socializing. No, I'm not going to go
Okay.
into the depth of it. But
Yeah.
socializing, what it means is your dog is coexisting in various spaces. Yeah, but is still being able to focus on you. The
Okay.
mistake which I've seen a lot of owners make is when they get their puppy, they take him out in the parking or they take him out in the society for the first time, and you have everyone coming towards your puppy, right? Oh, what a cute
Okay.
puppy! I want to play
Right.
with him and all of that. Now, once you allow this, okay, 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, 1 month, you allow all of this to happen from maybe 3 months to 4 months because everything is cute till then and your puppy is small in size. Now, suddenly at 8 months, your dog has started becoming bigger, but you've still been allowing the same thing, right? Your dog is
Right.
still pulling towards those people because he started doing it when he was young and you let him do it.
Right. Right. Right.
So what ideally socializing would be. So when we take our puppies out, when our early socializing, we actually tell people, even if someone is walking towards us, I tell them, don't touch my dog. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
sometimes I'm then known as an arrogant trainer at that time, but
Yes.
but we can't risk it at that time, right? If
Right.
my dog then chooses to ignore that person, and this was just peaceful, right? Like he just learned to ignore that person and we walked away. I didn't have to shout at him. I walked away and that's it. Sooner, what the dog learned in so many months is that, okay, I'm just walking with you. I have actually not faced that much of a pulling issue with my dog because he never found something else more interesting. I didn't give him a chance only to find something else interesting. Like think
Right.
about it, if you're walking in the terrace with your dog, yeah, in your
Mm-hmm.
parking area, just you're doing a leash walking. Is your dog randomly pulling you towards the chair or the pot or some plant in your backyard? Is he pulling you
Not.
towards those things?
Not really. Not really.
Because that thing doesn't give him anything. See,
Right.
what we end up showing the dog is everything else is giving you a lot of interesting thing, and I'm boring. I'm just
Uh-huh.
there with you anyway. Rather, you
Right.
always become the more interesting thing. If you're raising, that's what. If your early socializing goes right, you don't have to really create that much conflict also in your dog.
Hmm.
And
Right.
obviously, later to prove it, you'll have to show him that you're always more rewarding, and all of that is
Right.
not so interesting.
Right. So, do you think, like, while walking, do you think that talking to the dog constantly would also help to distract them from the
Absolutely. Don't
surroundings or something?
constantly talk. Yeah, don't
Okay.
constantly talk, but talk once in a while.
Right.
See, let them
Okay.
explore. Your loose leash walking has to be fun. Like, where your dog, let him sniff once in a while, then
Right.
come back,
Right.
then, okay, what's up? Okay, chal, let's walk again. Have a
Right.
conversation, but don't keep talking to each other.
Right. Okay. Before we move on to the other comments, queries, and subjects, dog walking and walking your dog is an integral part of bonding, I believe. And, like everybody should personally do that. But because of, tight schedules and, sometimes people not being free, they hire dog walkers or even, their trainers do that for them. So, you think that, that kind of gives away a little bit of bonding time that you could have had with your pet because somebody else is walking your dog now? Is it like that? Or, and if it is completely unavoidable, what are the other ways that you can bond with your dog if you're not able to take them out on a walk?
Yeah. So walking is a brilliant time to bond with your dog, but again, it's not the only time. So yes, if you have a hectic schedule and you're not able to walk them, it's okay to have a walker because still it's not the most important way of bonding. It is one of the ways of bonding, but it's not the most
Okay.
important way. I would say have the main card in your hand, which is playing. Don't let anyone else play with your dog. If you are going to be the only one playing with your dog, and do it at your time. See, you can't tell me that you have no time in the day. You might have 1 hour in the
Right.
morning or evening or night or late night, I mean, otherwise don't get a dog. So
Right.
if you can give that 1 hour, just play. Let everyone else do everything else, but you play. If you can play with your dog, I think then your dog is going to bond with you. But if everything your staff is doing, like there are families where, like recently I had a case where the dog has bitten everyone else in the family, but not the staff, not the help. And the more I started speaking to the person and I was seeing this was happening, and I was observing them, the dog thinks that the staff is his owner because the staff is doing everything. He's walking him, he's
Right.
feeding him, he's
Right.
grooming him. Every day his
Right.
brushing the staff is doing. It was a Shih Tzu,
Right.
a 5-year-old Shih Tzu. He doesn't
Right.
think the other people are his family members. He thinks they are just someone who lives with them. So obviously it was
Right.
very traumatizing. The owner was crying almost. But I had to tell her this,
Mm.
that, you have to start bonding. Let the dog start
Mm.
feeling you are also someone.
Right. Right. Okay. Let's take a couple of questions from the audience. Swapnil says my dog loves to play, but at the same time he likes to bite my hand over excitement. How can I train him on that?
What dog is it? Can you please help me? How old is your dog? What breed is he?
Okay, so Swapnil, can you write a follow-up comment telling us more about what your dog's breed is and how old is he and everything. He has a couple of more questions, so I think that he'll come around. Let's take another one till then. Okay, let's take this one. So Ankita says, "Hi, my baby. She's a Labrador. I am really concerned about what to do about spaying." Okay, this is regarding spaying and neutering. She's 1.6 years. Her weight is 30. Are you comfortable taking spaying questions, or should we move on?
Let me just let's go through the question.
Okay, so she's 1.6 years. Her weight is 33 kg. After spaying, she will gain a lot of weight that is dangerous for her health in future. I don't want that. And she's just 1.6 years. I want her to be in her childish mood. Not mating her also so soon, not at least for 6, 7 years. So I just wanted to know, is it necessary to mate or spay? Because I don't want either of it for my pup. Please to suggest.
Okay, that's a fair question. Okay. I would say, Ankita, if you are not comfortable with it and you don't want to mate or spay, that's perfectly fine. But I would say if you're not, I mean, I guess you're just a pet owner, you're not into the industry of breeding or any of that. So definitely don't mate. Spay, I think, obviously consult with a veterinarian, they will explain it better to you, what the medical benefits of it are. But mate,
Right.
definitely do not mate your dog if you're just an owner. I mean, unless and until you're an ethical breeder and you know the history and you're studying the bloodlines and everything, definitely no mating. Spaying, optional, of course.
Right.
Speak to your
So,
vet what you want to do. But yeah,
yeah.
if you're doing it for behavioral health, it's not the solution. Yeah,
Okay.
if you
So,
have
Ankit,
any behavioral issue with your dog, yeah.
right. So, Ankita, it'll be best that you consult with your vet regarding the same. For any training or behavioral related queries that you have for your Labrador, Priyanka would be happy to answer those. Chittu says that my baby is a pug, 1.5 years, male neutered, and is adopted from his former parents who are moving abroad. He is now fine but doesn't get along with other dogs. How can we get him friendly with other dogs? So, typical socialization query.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. What do you mean by he doesn't get along? Is he okay to just coexist but not play? Or does he go to attack other dogs? See,
Okay.
again, so we'll have to check with that if you could help us with that. But I will still tell you in both the situations what you can do. One, if your dog is okay, but he's not necessarily playing, okay, like he's okay, he can coexist with 5 other dogs, but he's not really interacting much with anyone. That's perfectly fine, and you don't need to do anything about it. Yeah, that's actually a socially neutral dog, and there's nothing wrong with your dog. Yeah, obviously, but if he is going to attack a dog, you need to get a trainer and train him for that.
Right. Um, Okay, there's this question from Ashna. My baby is a pure Pomeranian. He is 1 years old. Whenever we take him for a walk, he barks at any moving vehicle and won't stop even if the vehicle has passed. What can we do?
Okay. How old is he? She said 1 year.
1 year, yeah.
Yeah. Ashna, I would like to know again, has he had any prior experience with a vehicle? Like, has anything ever happened to him? Did he always do this as a puppy, or it suddenly started after anything that happened? Like, did he have an experience and then this started? In either case, what you can start doing is one, don't focus too much, don't just be around and fuss over it that he should be okay. Just try to walk away. You try to also be normal about it. Just walk away, like act like nothing happened. Let's at least try ignoring. See, sometimes ignorance is bliss. We
Right.
try to really focus on, okay, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Just
Yeah.
go. Maybe it could help. But also, if you can help me more with details, I can help you more.
Right.
That when did it start and did he have an experience?
Okay, Ashna, so if you could provide a few more details about, what when it exactly started happening. Was it something that he's been doing since he was a small pup? Please do comment, and we'll get back to your question again. Um, okay, couple of pug questions. So Seema says that I have a pug, and unlike other pugs, he is very ferocious. He is possessive about his food too. If he touches bowl, he tries to bite us. Is this behavior normal?
Okay. Seema, this behavior is definitely something that you need to address immediately. Yeah, I don't know how old he is. You haven't mentioned that. But food aggression again is something that mostly comes into dogs genetically. Okay, you really can't do anything about it if it's even after you've tried. Like there are a lot of myths about food aggression that if you move around the dog's bowl when he's a puppy and you do all of those things, he will not get food aggressive. It's not true. If he has it, he has it. Yeah, and if he doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. But the only thing is, what we can do is, if you we can train him, like just the owner, to handle his food bowl and for the dog to accept it. So you'll definitely need a trainer. Food aggression is extremely dangerous. So get a trainer. Where are you? Are you in Pune or Delhi? Wherever you are, get a trainer in immediately and address this, because they will have to teach your dog to be okay with that.
Right.
And
So, yeah,
until then, yeah, another thing is, until then, avoid any accidents. If you know your dog is going to bite you, why don't you just give him his food and not go there right now? See, with every bite, you're increasing his confidence. So until and unless you have a trainer, just at least make sure there are no accidents. Okay, sometimes with genetic aggression, what we can do is, maybe you're just going to have to teach him to move back from his bowl instead of going to the bowl. Yeah, see, we have to be very dog dependent when it comes to training. Maybe your pug is never going to be one of those friendly retrievers who let you take the bowl. But maybe he's going to soon start accepting you to just, when you ask him to move back, and then you can take the bowl. So there are no bites, and also you handled it, you managed it fine.
right. Okay. So, Seema and others who have, who would want to seek to know if any dog trainer is around their city of residence, you can always ping us at PetFed India, and we'll be able to provide you details, basis the city of your residence. And even Priyanka, you can reach out to Priyanka at Snout Scout on her Facebook page and on her Instagram page as well. There is a very interesting question, actually. A lot of pet parents have this, that they don't like it when their dogs, are friendly or are playing with street dogs. Is it? I think it's absolutely fine, but can you just address this question that Aadhar has?
Yeah.
My
I
lab loves to
wouldn't see
play with
what the
street dogs.
problem. Yeah. I think it's nice. Let him play with the dogs. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with it. What is your concern? If your concern is that he pulls you towards a street dog, and hence you're a little concerned, obviously teach him leash pulling. Yeah. You need to then work on your leash work. If your problem is that he's getting ticks or fleas or something, you can always treat him for that. And see, that is something he's anyway going to get. He could get it just on a normal walk, or he could get it in your own house if you have a backyard from the grass or whatever. I mean, ticks and fleas can just happen from anywhere. If you've treated him for it, then you're better off if you've done a preventive treatment. But other than that, I don't see if there is any problem with that, unless the dogs are. But if he's going and playing with the street dogs, that means the dogs are also doing nothing to him. So I think it's okay. It's absolutely
Right.
okay. My dog used to only play with street dogs. So
Right.
one of my dogs, she used to only play with street dogs. She used to never play with my own other dogs.
Right. So dogs of the hood, basically. So Adar, it's completely okay for your dog to play with the other dogs of the hood. Let him socialize, like Priyanka said. We had two questions in the past that we were taking. So Swapnil has replied. His Labrador is of 2 years. I'll go back to his previous question. Um, this one. So you had asked him how old his dog is and which breed
Hmm.
this is. It's a Labrador, 2 years old Labrador that he's talking about.
Okay. Okay. So you can train then 2 years Labrador. You can train him not to do that. One is you completely stop reacting when he comes on your hand, and you make the toy more interesting. So if you keep playing with the toy, your dog is eventually going to go to the toy. Yeah. And being a 2-year-old, of course, you can even say a firm no, teach her a no as well, that you're not okay with this. You have to teach the no command, of course. Your dogs are not born with the knowledge of what a no means. So
Right,
teach them the no command, and then you can use it. For a 2-year-old, definitely you can use it. For a puppy, I would say try not to even correct, just distract. I would
right.
not correct a puppy. I would not say no to a puppy.
Okay. And the other question that you had asked for a follow-up one, Ashna's, where we were talking about how her Pomeranian, barks every time a vehicle passes by. She says that when he was so he's been doing that since he was 2 months old when the breeder bought him from Lucknow Delhi by road, and since we have started his walks he barks on vehicles. So pretty much since he was a small puppy is when he's started barking on
Hmm.
vehicles.
Yeah. So somehow he's not comfortable with this. Ashna, if there is anything that he likes, like his classic reward, why don't you take that on the walk? Anything that he likes, okay? And not what you think he likes. Anything that he likes, whether it is food or a toy or anything that he's going to grab, just go on the walk and just sit there. Don't necessarily take a walk. Just go sit on a bench or something. And when these vehicles pass by, just keep giving him that reward. Just let's counter condition that the passing of a vehicle means something good that happens to him. Hopefully it should get better.
Yes.
And in the meanwhile, if you can even take a video and share it with us, it'll be great, so I can also see how he is exactly reacting, so we can help better with that. But I think just counter condition, take a reward with you,
Right.
what he really
Okay.
likes.
Right. Okay, Ashna, I hope you were listening to that. We have a lot, many more questions coming in. So a lot of people are appreciating, your answers, Priyanka. People are commenting that.
Thank you so much.
We have Charu Datta, 3 months old lap pup, toilet training tips.
Oh. Okay. Puppies are like the best time of your life. Yeah. So toilet training for a pup, I would say 100% crate training. Okay, 100%. Like I would just go by crate training because it reduces conflict. And like I said, I don't want to shout at a puppy because they are really innocent at that age. Actually, all dogs are at any age, but at the puppy age, of course, you have to be very careful. So just crate training and bring him out on schedule, take him to the designated area, praise him when he does it, put him back in the crate. See, dogs, where they're going to sleep, they're not going to pee or poop. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Right.
and then it should be fine. And whenever he does susu potty in the right place, lots of praise. If he ever, by mistake, you left him in the house and he's not crated and he does end up peeing or pooping somewhere, which he was not allowed to do in that area, just ignore and go clean it. No shouting at your dog for toilet training.
Right.
That's another
So,
thing. No shouting
so
at your dog.
Right. So crate training is actually like a popular, opinion amongst trainers, and a lot of trainers are recommending that. So that is there. There is a question by Khushbu. I have green cheek conure and a British long hair cat, but okay, it's a cat related question. Um, let's move on to the other one. So Priyanka is a dog behaviorist. She is not, she will not be able to take this question. Sorry, Kushbu, but we'll have, more sessions on cat keeping. So, we can definitely take up this question then. Um, okay, we'll take this one. Shaikh Rahman says, I have a 4 months old lab, and whenever he gets excited, he pees, which is happening regularly, and he's not able to control it. He does it while playing, and at times he's not aware that he's peeing.
Yeah. Okay. So with certain puppies, we do see this, that this does happen, because there is, little bladder control. If he's doing it, if you're sure he's doing it out of excitement, again, are you sure it's excitement and not fear? Is one thing I would want you to check. Because if it is out of excitement, then I would say then you lower the energy a little bit. You don't get, play a little different way where, you still have little bit of a calm play, I would say. But if he's doing it out of nervousness, building up his confidence would do better. So then you'll have to play in a little different way where you're going to work on his confidence, and soon this fearful peeing will stop. But with a lot of puppies, they'll just grow out of it as well once they have better bladder control.
Right. Okay, this is actually a question that is a little different. We should totally address this, Priyanka. Anmol asks that my dog has a nervous disorder. He can't walk properly. Are there any suggestions how I should help him grow mentally and physically?
Okay. Again, Anmol, what kind of nervous disorder? Like, what is it? He can't walk properly, but he can walk, or he just drags himself. That is one thing. Because if he's able to still walk like on all four or even three legs, then just be normal. Okay, then there is nothing that you don't need to really treat him separately. Like I had a three-legged indie who has stayed with me for a long time, and I was fostering her, and now she's into another family. We just treat her normally like any other dog. We look at her as only a three-legged puppy, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with her. She runs on her three legs. So it
Right.
depends on what it is. If he's dragging or something, then obviously play more stationary games. Don't try to do a lot of running around if there are going to be wounds when he's going to drag himself. If he's able to walk, then you can be normal. It all depends on what it is, like how bad is the condition.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Christina. She asks, I have a 1.8-year-old lab, adopted him months ago. He's very aggressive with other dogs. He first barks and then he just tries to hump, whether it's a male or a female dog.
Okay. If he's humping and barking, it's more playful and also dominance, I would say, but not aggression. Yeah, so aggression would be if he was really trying to go and bite another dog. This looks like just a dog who's overstimulated. Soumya, you're stuck
Yeah,
in the video.
yeah, it's okay. I can hear you. You can, your video is also lagging. Um, I can hear you.
Okay,
Can you continue?
yeah, okay. So I would say if it's just
Okay, we have lost Priyanka due to some internet connectivity issues. Right. Okay. So, guys, thank you for joining in into the session and asking your queries. Thank you so much for joining in and viewing the session. We have lost Priyanka due to some internet issues, but we were anyway coming close to the end of the session. Don't worry if your question has been left unanswered. We will be answering them on the comments itself. Priyanka will take up those answers personally, and will leave no comment unanswered. We would also like to thank Priyanka for. Okay, I think I can see her. Priyanka, are you here?
yes,
Okay, we lost you, and I was about to
sorry.
close the session. It's fine. So anyway,
So
we're
sorry, everyone.
that's fine. So
Yeah.
we are nearing the end of the session. We will wrap it up. A few questions that have been left unanswered. There are a few questions that have been left unanswered. You will be answering them personally on the comments itself. So don't worry, guys. We'll answer your questions. Before we close the session, I just have one question to you. A lot of people, they can manage training their dogs at home, maybe basic obedience and all. But do you think advanced training is necessary, and how can it help a dog and their parent if they take up the advanced training course as well?
Yeah. So, Soumya, advanced training is definitely something which is more for the dog than the owner.
Right,
Like a lot of times by the end of your basic obedience training, your life is quite peaceful with the dog. Like you
right,
rather take an obedience training because you want everything to be peaceful with your dog. You want everything to be in discipline and all of those things. But advanced training is the step where you now actually your relationship with your dog is going to start getting better. See, every dog was meant to do some work alongside their human, right? Something or the other. It can be
right,
anything. It can
right,
either be sport work, or your dog is just protecting you, or he's retrieving stuff for you. Like I was telling you, getting your dog to get you your keys. Like I'm doing that with one of
right,
my dogs right now to find me my keys because I keep losing them. So
right.
I said,
Okay,
why not just, do this? So,
right,
advanced work makes our relationship much better. Obviously, it makes the dog stay much calmer because they're doing some work. See, imagine if you are living, like you're living with your parents and a brother and a sister, everyone's going to work, they're doing something, but you're doing nothing. At some point of time, you're also going to start feeling, not so good about yourself, that you also want to contribute, right?
right,
Similarly, your dogs also feel that way. They want to do something. And when your
right,
dog does these things with you or for you, like when my dog finds the keys for me, the kind of happiness that I get and I shower him with is it's absolutely different, right? He
right,
feels
right,
also good about helping me, and I feel good about just seeing him that happy.
right.
So advanced training is 100% to get your relationship better with your dog, to bond
Great.
better, and as a team, when you all are both doing something for each other, you all are going to start feeling better.
Right. Okay, great. So, looks like our time is up. And Priyanka, I would really, really like to thank you for, joining us and helping us understand more about how we can bond better with our dogs and, giving your expert opinion on it. It has truly been wonderful having you on this session. And, I have learned a lot. I'm sure the viewers learned a lot. And thank you, pet parents who asked their questions or who's just simply watched it along. If any, as I said, if any query has been left unanswered, we will be taking it up personally. Hope we were able to help you in some way. To the ones who missed it, don't worry. We will be having such sessions soon, and we'll be covering different topics. And we'll be back with the training session also again. So, meanwhile, you can watch this entire video on the video section of our Facebook and YouTube page. Thank you for joining us, Priyanka, once again. You can say bye to
Thank
the
you so
audience.
much, Soumya. Thank you, Soumya. It's been great
Yeah,
having this session, and I hope I
same.
could help at least some of them.
Yes, for
Yes.
sure, for sure, for sure. All right,
Great,
okay.
great.
Bye bye.
Thank you, pet parents, for listening. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.